Imagine a girl born in New York right at the turn of the century. Our age, roughly. She was her parents' first child, and her mother died soon after giving birth to her. Her father drove a delivery wagon and paid a neighbor to mind the girl during the day. She grew up with just enough, and even once she was old enough, her father still wouldn't let her work. He insisted she stay in school.
Good for him.
It was good. Well, if not good, it was satisfactory. They grew up with just enough and no more. When the girl turned 13, he died.
Well, what'd she do? She'd have to go to work, I suppose.
She did. She dropped out of the 8th grade and found factory work. She couldn't afford rent on the flat that she shared with her father, so she left that and moved into an all-female boarding home.
Oh, well, that is hardly a home.
She told you it wasn't all that bad. She had fun there. It was hard to be on her own in the streets because she was pretty and people knew she had no one. But at the boarding home with the girls, she felt safe.
Well, what about at the factory?
At the factory, she made less than half of what the boys made and fended off leering eyes and grabbing hands and developed an incurable cough from the things she was inhaling there every day. Still, she stayed there 2 years. It took that long to find the next step.
This is like a Frances Hodgson Burnett book.
Now, remember, this was New York, so there were other opportunities.
This is not like a Frances Hodgson Burnett book.
She found work through one of the girls at the boarding home at a concert saloon as a living statue.
What?
She posed as famous works of art, like Venus rising from the sea or the Greek slave.
Well, she couldn't have been wearing much.
She had to look like the statue. The statue was a nude.
I could not be friends with this girl.
She stood on a rotating platform several times an evening, and people looked at her.
Men.
Of course, she grew popular and had admirers and earned 3 times what she'd been making at the factory. After a year or so, one particular admirer arrived on the scene. He was young and wealthy. A fancy man was what the other girls called him. She just called him his name, Teddy.
And did he save this girl from this wretched life?
It wasn't all that wretched. The girls she worked with were sweet and funny, and they took good care of each other. One of the girls spoke a little French. It was part of her act, and she taught it to our heroine. Another one wanted to get on the legitimate stage. She had the complete works of Shakespeare in the dressing room and would have the girl read lines to her when they weren't required out front. She got something of an education.
Well, it couldn't have been all books and laughs.
Oh, no! There were fights and arguments, and once, one of the girls just disappeared. It was rumored that she had gone underground, that her boyfriend was active in the union movement, and they had to run. The other girls missed her, but they divided up the things she left behind.
But not our girl, right? Because a wealthy man came and fell in love with her?
Oh, yes. She and Teddy had dinners, and he bought her gifts, for which she treated him to certain favors.
I could not be friends with this girl.
He was ready to declare himself to her and tell his family all about her when she found herself in the family way.
He left her high and dry, didn't he?
Oh, no! He was more determined than ever to make a life with her. He told his family about her, leaving out the more colorful details, but they were unwilling to accept her solely based on the fact that she was an orphan of no significant name and uneducated.
So they ran away together?
Teddy proposed it, and the girl considered it, but they waited too long.
What do you mean?
Teddy's father had friends in the police force who followed Teddy, who led them right to the concert saloon where they arrested the girl. Her friends and co-workers were particularly curious because they arrested just this girl and did not raid the whole place. The girl knew it was because of Teddy's family, to being sent away out of state and given the position of a domestic in the home of a wealthy industrialist. The girl said she would agree on 2 conditions. Teddy's father must find her a doctor to relieve her of her burden. And the industrialist must agree to pay the girl the same amount she'd been making at the concert saloon. These conditions were met, and the girl was sent to Dayton, Ohio.
Oh, your Aunt Elizabeth, that's how you met this girl. She worked for you.
It was all good and fine for a year, although the girl made a terrible domestic. And then, somehow, Teddy found out where she was. He began to write her letters, telling her he would come down from New York as soon as he had enough money secreted away. The other girls working at the home were unlike the girls at the concert saloon in that they could not keep a secret. Aunt Elizabeth soon found out and told Teddy's parents. They were distraught and knew they couldn't contain him much longer. They told Elizabeth to do whatever she could at any expense, and they would fit the bill. They said they could not have their son married to a woman whose bosoms had been seen by half the men in New York. Aunt Elizabeth asked the girl what she wanted.
Well, what did she ask for? Do you know? Was it an automobile? A new fur coat?
Grace.
What?
She demanded an education at a top university, a monthly stipend, a wardrobe, elegant accommodations, and the opportunity to be around people of a higher class while wearing clothes. Aunt Elizabeth told the girl to choose any university outside of Ohio, and she would take care of the rest.
And she chose the University of Michigan.
She did. I have let you believe a number of things about me, Grace, that aren't true. You're my best friend, and you deserve to know what's what. So, could you be friends with a girl like that?
I have a mind to go see Miss Matt and ask her how on earth she lost my sister.
That could get Grace into trouble, Roy, and don't we want her here as long as she can be?
Of course. Are you sure Lillian isn't in?
I'll knock again. Lillian, are you in? When was the last time you spoke to Grace?
I saw her Friday morning on my way to school. She wasn't keen on talking to me. Still upset about Michael Reed, although in the big picture, it's
I
me.
wonder if she isn't more upset that you expect her marriage to save the farm.
She's getting what she wants. All these girls want a husband. Some of them have to wait for years. Lucky for Grace, she's got us helping.
Maybe Grace wants other things.
Do you know they host an event here at Martha Cook called the Husband Hunting Tea? Have you heard of that?
No.
They invite all the law school men over for tea and see who might make a good catch. These girls all want the same thing. Husband, home, family. You're lucky enough to have all 3.
When you saw Grace on Friday, were you able to tell her about Sam Hetzel?
No, she wouldn't let me get a sentence out. She just strolled on by and hollered over her shoulder, "I'll see you Monday, boy."
Oh. Oh.
What?
How long do you think she's actually been gone? Grace, is that you?
No, it's Lillian, just getting back from class.
Has Grace been gone all weekend? Lillian, has Grace been gone all weekend?
Wait, what? Gone all weekend? Lillian!
She left on Friday. I don't know exactly when she and Ida
Ida!
left.
She left with Ida and she's been gone for 3 days.
They said they'd be back here this morning. I thought they'd be here by now. Maybe the train.
The train! They took a train to where?
Roy, lower your...
Don't tell me to lower my voice, Alice. Lily, weeks ago, my sister took a train to Detroit and back. Did she go again? Did Ida?
I'm sure they're fine. You said Ida's been before. She must know her way around then.
Where on earth did they sleep? What did they eat?
I didn't know someone there. She had an appointment of some kind.
But why would Grace go with her? If Ida's already been there and back, why would she need Grace?
A welcoming party!
Sorry. Why?
You weren't in church yesterday.
I'm done with Bethlehem United. The service is in German, for heaven's sake.
Well, there's an English one at 7 a.m., but I thought you might have an easier time behaving if you didn't understand what was being said. But that's not why you weren't there. You weren't even in town.
Well, you see, it was complicated.
You were on some kind of little trip?
I accompanied Ida to Detroit.
In what capacity? Carrying her bags, pressing her dresses,
Stop it.
combing her hair, tying it back.
Grace, stop scaring your brother. I had business there, Roy. Not even business, really. Silly to call it that.
Yes, her elderly family member. Remember, I told you, Roy, Mrs.
Yes, Mrs. Whitman. I was sent by my aunt to visit Mrs. Whitman, an old family friend. Mrs. Whitman is aged and infirm, and I brought Grace along to have someone to talk to. My aunt encouraged me to bring a friend. She even paid for both of our train tickets. It was absolutely wrong of us not to tell you. It was more fun having a secret. It was silly.
We were safe.
Grace, you can't go to strange cities with strange people. If you leave town again, I'll inform Father.
Oh, well, you don't have to. That's
What's going on?
They're probably still whooping about getting the right to vote.
We won't stop whooping about that for a while. Even old Mrs. Whitman was whooping when we had tea.
Isn't anyone in class?
The Hun signed the armistice. The war is over. The war is over. We are not missing this.
Oh, who would have guessed?
Don't you want to go out and celebrate?
She shouldn't be taking my sister out there.
Set your anger aside for the day. It's a start, Roy. We shouldn't miss this.
You can't go out there.
I'll be fine.
Look, the streets are flooding with people. The army marching band is warming up. You can't get jostled like that. In the flu, if anything were...
Fun, but you go.
I'm not just going to leave you here.
You can't leave your sister alone. It's a Malay.
And Father would be furious if he knew I left her out there alone.
Then go.
Well, what will you do?
I'll read something. I'll help unpack Grace's things. I'll set her side of the room to order.
Oh, you're wonderful. Our baby's gonna grow up, never knowing war.
lying around. I think Father may try to clear them out while she's gone.
I'd like to hear about him. Your brother.
Really? Alright. He was meant to be here at the university this fall. Even when he went to Europe, Father said they would just push his attendance back a year. He was so excited to have George here with him. Then after Bella would, he decided I should take his place. I wasn't thinking about school, but here I am. He would have liked it better. He played the piano.
Did he?
Yes, and he was just learning how to play the ukulele when he shipped out.
Did he only play funny songs?
Oh no, he was a real musician. Mother thought it was important that he play in the church. Just every now and then he'd slip in a line, just instrumentally, from a silly song we both knew. And he'd catch my eye from across the church, and I'd have to bite my lip to keep from laughing.
He sounds wonderful.
He was. I'm sorry.
Don't apologize. Come here. You have to know that he's looking down on you and he's proud of you. And you have to do your best to honor his memory.
I know.
Come here.
Look who's still here! Are you dancing? Grace, come here! Lillian, we lost you quite early. Did you have fun?
The parade seemed a mile long. We started at the Army Band and ended at the Navy Band.
Lots of flags from allied nations. That was lovely to see. Mostly Old Glory, of course, but there were lots of others as well.
Where's Roy?
He's not back yet.
He was on a float with the medics.
The float?
Yes, didn't you see?
No.
You missed everything.
It's okay. You should go to bed now. You look tired. I am. I'll see you guys. I'll see you girls in the morning.
Good night, Lillian. Thank you for visiting with me.
Of course. Have a good night.
So, Roy was on a float?
Yes, the medics built a big phony operating table and made it look like they were dissecting the Kaiser alive.
With his big hat and silly mustache.
It sounds gruesome.
Oh, it does now, but at the time it was quite funny.
And did the parade end just now?
Oh, no, hours ago. They opened up the theaters and had all kinds of shows. Not the highest quality, of course, being impromptu.
Many silly songs and patriotic performances.
Oh, yes, lots! From the halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli.
Well, I suppose I should be making my way home now.
The streets are clear.
I'll walk you. Oh, you've been in my bag?
I was trying to be kind and help unpack your things after your trip. It was intrusive, I see that now.
There are things missing.
Here.
Does Lillian know you've seen them?
No. Did she get these from you, Ida?
You won't tell Roy, will you?
Oh, my grace.
You have to keep this a secret.
None of this is appropriate.
It's information.
Forgive me, Ida, but Grace is my concern right now. There's a column in there supporting assassination as a political tactic.
No one is getting assassinated, for heaven's sake.
Grace, if you're being corrupted, Roy and I have been charged with your...
Not charged with me. I'm in your charge? That's ridiculous. I'm grown.
Well, it seems that if we leave you to your own devices, you're going to turn into a radical.
Stop!
How do you expect to settle back down and run a household when you know that people are writing things like this? The more you know, the less you'll fit.
Who says I want to fit?
What do you mean?
Not once in my life has anyone asked me if I wanted a husband, if I wanted children, or a farm, or to live in Michigan close to my parents.
What do you mean, Grace? Those are the normal things to want.
Normal? Why? Because you want them? Are you saying I'm not normal?
I'm not. I'm not a normal girl, Grace. You know this? And I have a strong suspicion that you aren't either.
This is starting to sound quite perverse.
Catch your breath, Alice. Ida is just saying that we're part of a different generation of women. You are too. We can live different lives and have bigger thoughts than our mothers before us. We can stretch the just idea of what...
Alice! Oh, thank goodness you're here!
Where did you think I'd be?
Well, I had gone home, of course, expecting you there. It had been hours. It's just, I'm sorry, I got caught up.
I'm glad you did. I'm glad you got to celebrate.
Did you catch any of it out the window?
A bit. It looked chaotic and wonderful.
Oh, it was. I wish we could have been in it together. Shall we go?
Let's.
Oh, Grace, I was on the float. You saw me?
Yes?
A fellow on it who's friends with me from last year, Sam Hetzel, was there with me. He's agreed to see you for lunch Saturday. Alice, will that work?
Yes.
Wonderful! Saturdays. And Grace,
Yes.
I just want to let you know I forgive you for going out of town, for the way you spoke to me, in the spirit of the day. I forgive you.
I'm not sorry.
I didn't suppose you were.
So we spoke to Ruby's aunt about the information these girls need, but where is that information? All the Women Rebel ever says is that it needs to be conveyed. Where are the facts?
Are you sure you're ready for that? It's very specific, very anatomical.
Have you ever stuck your arm inside of a cow to deliver a calf? My tolerance for anatomy is pretty high.
Here. Also by Sanger. Also somewhat illegal.
Family limitation. Let the corruption continue.
Dear Father, I hope you were able to celebrate the news of armistice yesterday. I doubt you had a celebration in Edmore akin to what we had here, but I'm sure it was a memorable Monday. Perhaps the most memorable of our lives. It is thrilling to know that peace reigns once again. God is in heaven, and all is right in the world. As Mother's favorite Mr. Browning wrote, how are we to process history being made before our very eyes? The war ending on Monday, Michigan women getting the right to vote just days before. Have you asked Mother if she intends to exercise that right? I know Alice will do no more than second my vote, as I'm sure most wives will do for their husbands. It's the young, unmarried women that create uncertainty. The government has ordered that the SATC be disbanded immediately, for there is no more need for them to continue training. Their presence here has caused such chaos. Their departure will be a welcome sight for all who wish to see the true spirit of Michigan restored. Grace has another date with a new fellow, Sam Hetzel. As you can guess by his name, he is German, but I assure you, he is no sympathizer. He does have 2 more years left of medical school, so I ask that you please consider the possibility that the farm may have to eke by without a third income a little while longer. Grace doesn't yet understand that there isn't tuition money for her beyond this term. If the topic comes up while we're home for Thanksgiving, let's not let Grace know that February will mark the end of her time here as a student. Send Mother my love. Your son, Roy. Grace! Grace! Lillian!
Yes?
My sister's gone missing.
Missing.
She was meant to be at my house half an hour ago for lunch. I left Alice there entertaining Sam Hetzel and come to find her.
I haven't seen her today.
Do you know if she went to that meeting yesterday?
I don't know.
It was fun, wasn't it? Getting you girls into the Michigan spirit.
Oh, I didn't go.
Why not? Honestly.
Those kinds of gatherings are just hotbeds for the flu.
The flu has passed, Lillian. Congratulations, you survived. Say, my sister hasn't gone on another day trip again.
Has she?
I truly haven't seen her.
Oh, hello.
Ida, where's Grace? Where are you?
I'm not her keeper, and you're not mine.
She was meant to be at my house for lunch today.
As far as I know, she intended to be there.
What? What did she say to you about it?
Well, I was there when you demanded her attendance. I thought it was presumptuous.
You thought it was presumptuous, that's rich. Grace has a family obligation.
She's obliged to be awarded to the first semi-appropriate man that'll have her for life.
She's obliged for playing her role in the next phase of her life. She's obliged to play her part in maintaining our family's legacy.
Or what?
Or she can anticipate a life without support.
And she'll be able to support herself once she's a veterinarian.
There is no future as a vet. That's just a little girl's silly daydream. And the needs of our family are more important than Grace's fantasies. If the plan holds, in 3 months she'll be a wife, and in a year she'll be a mother.
Nearly all women are no better than slaves.
What?
That is to say, social restrictions prevent the full, free, and natural development of nearly every woman that is born.
What is that? Stop that!
For a rich man's wife is merely his most costly possession.
I believe that deep down in women's nature lies slumbering the spirit of revolt.
That is not something you're learning here, Lillian. Where are you picking up this nonsense?
We are a race of women that of old knew no fear and feared no death and lived great lives and hoped great hopes.
Shut up! Stop with that!
That's Olive Schreiner, Roy. Have you heard of her?
I am reporting you to the house director.
For what? Saying words you don't like?
I am the master of all. I am the daughter of strength. I am the dawn of life. I am I. I have the desire to be free, for I am free.
Give me that!
Don't you touch her! Woo!
Oh, Lillian, you were marvelous! That was scary. But it's all right. We may have done more harm than good.
Maybe, but right now, I don't care.
I wanted to shout at him, but I couldn't think of my own words. It was easier to call those of others. I felt powerful. I felt like a witch.
I'm so sorry to do that to you. I'm glad Ida was here. I'm glad you had each other.
Oh, you're here?
I didn't go to the Hetzel lunch, as you can see, but I didn't expect Roy to come searching for me. Lillian saw him stomping down the street and hid me in her room.
Oh my! Quite the schemers you two are becoming. And Lil, you've been reading.
There aren't too many possible hiding places in this room.
What do you mean?
Lillian told Roy off, quoting from the Rebel like she was texting him.
Ida joined me, thank goodness.
But you didn't let him see any of it, did you? Your books, your articles?
Oh no!
Good, because he won't hesitate to report you. He doesn't like you.
I give a damn? I've been prepared for this since Alice found everything. I can't believe she hasn't squealed.
Yeah, Lillian, Alice found all
I know. She told me.
She snooped around while we were out celebrating the armistice.
I know. She won't tell Roy.
Are you sure?
Absolutely.
How?
She came to me looking for information.
What information?
Birth control.
What?
Roy wants 7 or 8 babies. Alice only wants 2. Do you have it? The real information? Every woman that just wants to know deserves the right to know.
But if it got back to
It
Roy.
wouldn't.
Grace, I hate to say this, but you may need to run down there and apologize for dodging lunch.
Why?
Because that was reckless what Lil and I just did. As much fun as it was. And if we intend to bring Alice into the know, you need to go and play the part of the dutiful sister.
I can do that. I loved being here with you two so much. I don't even care about the farm. Let him sell it.
Let's not worry about that right now.
But if I was to marry him,
Hetzel?
You haven't even met him.
he still has 2 years of school left, so even if Roy would let me stay in the veterinary program, I could still stay here in Ann Arbor, close to the 2 of you.
Let's not concede just yet. Go down there and smooth things over. Don't fall in love. Tell them you made a mistake
most excellent news! We just concluded a very successful lunch date with Grace and Sam Hetzel. Grace was quite late. It appeared she had written the time down wrong in her date book. But they got along swimmingly. I've never known Grace to be so agreeable. Our prayers have truly been answered. And Sam was kind enough to bring her a green ribbon, and she donned it like a good sport. I'm a little sad she won't be a Michigan girl for much longer, but I am buoyed that we are now right back on track. In less pleasant news, I had the most frustrating encounter with the roommate, Ida. It appears she has drawn the third girl, Lily, into a cyclone of unnatural feminism. The things they were saying! But I told them in no uncertain terms I will have none of their pagan drivel. I have not told this to Grace yet, but I intend to write a letter to the house director and see about having Grace moved into a different room, perhaps a different building altogether when we return from Thanksgiving. I'm not worried. Grace is, as of yet, unblemished by this unfortunate pairing. It's all gonna work out. Sincerely, Roy.
That's a sad one.
I know, but I love it though. Say, I stopped in at Roy's to ask Alice how Thanksgiving was, and she wasn't there. Have you seen her?
Oh, she's back in Edmore. She isn't supposed to have the baby until after Christmas time, and Roy thought traveling back and forth would be too much for them. He intends to bring them both back after the first of the year.
Oh, that's a ways away.
Alice intends to name the baby George if it's a boy.
What?
I thought they had their hearts set on Daniel, but I guess she had a change of heart.
Oh, alright. How was your day?
Not abominable, really. I mean, Sam isn't great, but I'm not over the moon. If I never saw him again, I wouldn't grieve the loss. I wonder who's kissing him now. It won't cause a fuss or a row. Whoever is looking for Mr. Hetzel, turn here, salted pretzel.
Is there something funny? Please tell me something funny.
Silly songs, what's wrong?
I'm through in Detroit. Mrs. Zahn turned me down flat. She said she can't risk arrest. She admires my passion and grit, but she's too many things just on the verge of success. And with the momentum of suffrage, she can't jeopardize her position.
I'm afraid this might be my fault. I may have made some faces during our last meeting.
What did you want her to do exactly?
Oh, I'm sorry, Lillian. Mrs. Zahn is a progressive club woman in Detroit. I was trying to convince her to help me covertly educate factory girls about birth control.
That's illegal.
Technically, but I wasn't planning to have her stand with me on the streets talking about cots and pessaries.
Well, what were you planning?
Leaflets, maybe? I don't know. I hadn't gotten that far. I needed to know I had backing.
Why?
The technical things. Finding the information, producing it, distribution, connections inside the labor force.
Do you know what you want to say?
Sort of.
father has that much paper.
I can give paper.
And we don't need connections inside the labor force. We just have to be there when the workers get off of their shifts.
We?
Me.
Me too.
Are you serious, Lillian? You might get in trouble later down the road.
I wonder who's kissing her now.
I wonder who's teaching her how.
My father's last class just ended. Are we through? He can walk home at any minute.
Let me see one of those. Mrs. Whitman's Words for Women. It sounds like a prayer book.
You're an old hand at blasphemy, Grace.
Dear old Mrs. Whitman.
My elderly... What did you tell Roy she was again? My aunt?
Oh, I don't remember. I just kept talking until he seemed convinced. I feel proud.
We haven't done anything yet.
But we're going to, and it's going to make a difference.
I think the imagery of the pessary copied well, if I do say so.
I'm glad we had you here, Lillian. I didn't mind the Thames look like bowler hats.
I pity the poor girl who tries to tuck a bowler hat up inside her.
Oh, yes, love. Give me 1 second. I just gotta fold this just
Quite romantic.
I might buy one while I'm home for Christmas.
A bowler?
No, a pessary.
Put on earth for.
Because I want to know.
Won't Mrs. Dean stop you?
No. She knows better than to monitor me.
The information about the cots is good, and the douches.
Cots are so expensive, and you have to count on the boy to have one.
Why?
Because he has to have it, he has to put it on.
The girl could have it. She could say, here, put this on.
And where would she get it?
She would buy it, just like the boy would.
Oh, don't tell me you're gonna buy some cots along with your pessary.
I might make it a whole experiment while I'm home. A pessary, a few cots, a fountain syringe, maybe a bulb one too, just to know the difference.
Lysol, bichloride. What's the other one?
Potassium permanganate.
How do you remember that? I forgot the minute we got spelled right on the stencil.
The druggist in Dayton is going to be very suspicious.
Perhaps he'll just think I'm being overly cautious.
Perhaps he'll think you have a lot of lovers.
Oh yes, he'll have a very low opinion of you, Miss Iron Veteran.
Or a very high one.
Who cares? I'll be back here by the new year.
Leaving your scandalous reputation behind you.
Of course.
Marvelous.
You're marvelous, Grace. And you too, Lil. Only one step left.
Are we on for the train on Friday?
Yes, the early one. Mrs. Zahn can't revolt, but she's willing to shelter and feed the revolutionaries. I want to make sure we're outside of the factory by the time the whistle blows.
And we just stand there and pass them out?
It's better if you move within the crowd. That way you're less likely to be noticed or pinpointed. As casually as you can, place a folded pamphlet into the hands of the women. Be discreet.
I think we should fold these with the word and flower on the outside.
Yes, the information should not be visible in the streets.
We need to do that back at Mark Clip. My father can walk in any minute. And I need one to mail to Alice.
Dear Miss Mack, my sister, Grace McBride, has had the terrible misfortune of being placed in a room with one Ida Kettering. My family would like to impress upon you that the situation must change immediately. I can say unequivocally that Miss Kettering's social and financial status may allow one to overlook substantial flaws in her character, but she's preventing my sister Grace, a gentle Christian girl, from achieving her goals here at Michigan. We ask that you remove Miss Kettering from the building immediately. But if the only way to get my sister past the reaches of this snotty, hot-tempered she-devil is to put her somewhere else entirely, so be it. I await your reply. Sincerely, Roy McBride.
I really should unpack.
You haven't?
No, give my parents some relief from paying for me? Maybe there's something I haven't heard of yet.
Maybe there is. Grace!
Oh,
Don't be so careless!
I guess I shouldn't be using our Mrs. Whitman's pamphlet as a bookmark.
Hide it!
It just doesn't seem scandalous anymore. You know, the words, the pictures.
I wish we could go back.
It was exciting, wasn't it? The activity of the city, your heart racing up, the women, and how they all seemed to know we were on their side, just taking what we gave them so discreetly, and sometimes even with a nod. It's like they knew we were all in on it together. It was powerful.
What was?
Hi, boy.
Roy,
What was powerful?
The sermon I heard at 7 o'clock this morning. You should try to come if you can wake up early enough.
Ida, you mind giving me and my sister some privacy?
That isn't necessary.
Yes, it is.
Grace,
It's fine, Ida.
I need to check my mailbox. I'll meet you in the blue room. Tea starts in half an hour.
We need to talk about you coming up here and barging in. It's going to stop.
There are things that need to be discussed, Grace. Changes need to be made.
I already told you I'm not leaving the building. And you can't talk to Maggie right now anyway. She's not in the building till this evening.
Fine.
Fine. So you're conceding. You're gonna leave me alone?
What was that sermon about? The powerful one.
Forgiveness and gratitude.
What was the scripture?
Christ healing the 10 lepers.
You are good. And you heard this at Bethlehem United?
Where else?
Detroit, maybe?
What?
What's that?
Nothing.
That's yours. Why is it packed?
It's books from home that I'm not using. There isn't much storage here, you know.
This isn't filled with books.
Fine. I accompanied Ida to Detroit. She wasn't feeling well, but her aunt insisted she go. She had to visit her family member, Mrs. Whitman. I accompanied her to make sure she was all right.
I said if you left town again, I'd inform Father.
But I have good news. I have a date with Sam later this
Cancel
week. What?
Cancel your date. It's over with Sam.
But Roy, I'm finally doing what you want. I'm seeing Sam for real. I don't know if I could marry him, but I mean, I could. Spending time with him isn't horrible.
You
Just
shouldn't have gone to Detroit.
I said I was sorry.
What's this?
Did you get that from Alice?
Alice, you think this obscenity belongs to my wife?
I don't know what that is.
You've become a liar, Grace. A good one. And that breaks my heart.
Don't say that.
I wanted such good things for you. I wanted you to be happy and learn as much as you could while there is still time and money. You're brilliant about books, but not about people. You let that girl use you. Ida used you for this.
You can leave and take whatever that is with you.
You know who else was in Detroit on Friday? Michael Reed. He saw you, he said, standing outside of one of Ford's factories before the whistle was to blow. He said he thought about calling out to you, but was afraid you might cuss him out again.
You never let me tell you what happened. You
But
never let me.
instead, he decided to hang around and see what you were up to. Maybe you were waiting for some blow. That the reason you rejected his offer is because your heart belonged to some factory worker.
He has this idea about me. He thinks I'm some kind of.
He said he saw you with 2 other women. He doesn't know who. I suspect I do. I mean, you've only got 2 friends.
I don't know what he's talking about. Ida was in her meeting, her visit.
Yes, Mrs. Whitman.
Yes.
You didn't go on the trip?
No. Ida was feeling better by then. We thought the train ride would be hard on her, but it turns out it was soothing.
I see.
And I thought it would be fun to see the people spill out of the factory. I've never seen anything like that before.
Reed said as the last whistle sounded and the workers exited from their shift, you blended into the crowd and he lost sight of you.
I admit it was kind of scary to be in that throng, kind of like Armistice Day, just without the music.
And when the dust had settled, he found 6 or 7 of these lying around. He collected them all and gave me this one. Mrs. Whitman's Words for Women. That's pretty clever. A slap in the face to me, to my gullibility. This is illegal, Grace. Printing it, distributing it, it's against the law.
I had nothing to do with that.
Reed outside of one of Ford's factories distributing illegal information to factory workers. He's going to go to the police
That's vindictive!
if you don't accept his proposal.
What?
If you accept his proposal, he'll give me all the copies he has of this film. I will burn them.
His proposal?
He wants to marry you.
Why?
To win, I suppose.
But I don't. This isn't.
This is disturbed, Grace. The information contained in here is perverse. The highest calling of a woman is to be a mother, and to teach good Christian women on how to circumvent that obligation. It is sinful, it's criminal, and it has got to be stopped. So whatever you decide, I am taking this to the police, and I'm having them take a good look at Ida Carey.
It was me! Just me. I don't know who those women were that Michael Reed thinks he saw. Ida was in her meeting, her visit with Mrs. Whitman, the real one. And I had the idea a few weeks back from a lecture in the animal body. It isn't safe for women to have 9 or 10 or 12 babies in as many years, Roy. And they aren't allowed to know how to stop it? It isn't fair.
It's the law.
It isn't just.
So you did this alone. This was all your idea.
It was.
I don't believe you. This has Ida written all over it. Every other room in this building, and you would have...
Roy, if you say one word about this to anyone in a position of power, I will tell Alice you made me cut off your toe so you wouldn't get drafted.
Grace!
Woo! I'll tell Alice, I'll tell Father how you schemed to make it look like an incident with the Holt, but you were too scared to do it yourself. I'll tell my new husband. Everyone will know Roy McBride is a coward. Roy McBride let innocent men die in his place.
Stop it!
I did this by myself.
So you're ready to become Mrs. Reed. There are 3 ways out of this, Grace. You marry the man, you face charges for the circulation of obscene literature, or you tell the authorities yourself who actually did this.
When?
What?
When do I have to marry him?
He'd like to bring you home as his wife for Christmas, leave you to set up house while he finishes school.
That's less than 2 weeks from now.
Then I'll tell him you accept. You should probably start packing.
And yet, it is also true that nearly all women are no better than slaves. That is to say that social restrictions prevent the full, free, and natural development of nearly every woman that is born. Certainly, the same is true for men.
girl that was here before me?
I did.
Have you spoken to her?
She's married